What is the definition of success? So what are you striving to achieve and why? Let's just have a bit of a laugh with it and see where it goes. Be open-minded. Most important people management tips. So these are the things that I see the least. Make people accountable and actually agree what that accountability is. So it's not telling, I think, but individuals need to know what doing a good job is, just like I've talked about needing to understand what the definition of success is for a business and what they're striving to achieve. So if you're managing people, then just be really clear what success is. And it just provides absolute clarity to them as an individual. And it just needs to be, I think, a couple of key really important things, right? Don't list too many. List the most important things. Try and include some metrics where possible. It's always possible to get either some metrics or something which is as specific as you can make it, so that that person understands. And people shy away from doing it because I think they don't know how to do it. I think too often they've probably got this thing in their head which is maybe how a textbook has told them they should do it. So just use the words that mean something to them. But make people accountable. If you don't make people accountable, how can you be confident they're going to do a good job? One thing you cannot do is do not blame. Do not blame if you're going to manage people, if you want to be an awesome manager. You know, that's not to say you give people a pat on the back when they've not done a good job, but you can't blame. The moment you start blaming, then effectively you are reneging on your own responsibility. You know, who put that person in that position in the first place, and then suddenly you're blaming that person for something. So you can't blame. You've just got to understand, look for reasons. What have you learnt? Implement the change, and if it's done properly, it should work. I think the other thing which is essential is fear. You know, do not. I think it's a little bit old school. That old fearful approach that maybe managers have conducted themselves doing, and all you do is you just shut down any communication flow. You know, the stereotypical old school boss, it was all about them providing feedback to the person that was reporting into them, when the reality is it should be two ways. You know, it should be two ways. You know, because, you know, and if you can create a culture where actually the person that reports into you is actually providing you some decent feedback, then great, you can learn. You know, without fear of consequences. The moment you start to manage by fear, you know, it doesn't get the best out of people, and people shut down, and you are very, very unlikely to get any decent ideas for fear of being put down or it not listened to, and therefore, you know, fear again just destroys. You know, it destroys credibility and it destroys a leader's effectiveness. And then just a last thing, which and this happens. This is a classic, and it happens just so often. Is managers. Just introduce a way of having some form of regular catch-up with the person that reports into you. And by that, it may be once a week. You know, not daily necessarily, but I mean, it may be relevant to be daily. But I guess using my example, when you know, when I was last employed, I would sit down with my direct reports once a week, and the purpose really initially was to actually just to give them the time to talk to me about how they're feeling and whether things are going well, and you know, how things have progressed. You know, during the week, I always looked to take that as an opportunity to talk about what the priorities are, which we'd agreed. So, you know, we've made people accountable, And fundamentally, the conversation, if you do that and you do that with clarity, then the conversation at those weekly catch-ups will be broadly around those things, which is great because that's the most important stuff. Do not cancel that meeting like managers do, because managers can, because they're the boss. I mean, how disrespectful is it to that individual? I always used to look at it as that's that individual's time. And if you want that person to then manage their team effectively and respectfully, then do not set a bad example by cancelling that meeting just because you're too busy. I mean, what does that say? It just says it's not important and that person's not important. So, you know, sometimes you have to rearrange, but rearrange, do not cancel, and do your best to rearrange as little as possible. You know, I mean, they're all just basic things and basic tips, but really important tips to be managing people if you have people reporting into you. Let's just have a bit of a laugh with it and see where it goes. Be open-minded.